Indie authors you've never heard of, part one. And the reason I know you've never heard of them is because this one is a friend of mine in real life. Quick side note, when I updated my cover, I also dropped the price for all three versions, ebook, paperback, and hardcover. I forgot to tell people that I dropped the price for all three of them, so go get them, friends. So today's indie author book recommendation is Angela. Oops, there we go. Childhood in War-Torn Germany, the history omitted from the official text. A memoir by Angela Mailander. Come on, PhD. Angela has been a very good friend of mine for a very long time. In fact, she was one of my high school English teachers. There she is. She's a real... I love Angela. She's a real character. Sometimes you meet people and you just become friends. I don't know how many people stay friends with their high school English teachers, but Angela and I have always gotten along. She's she's an adorable little German woman who is, right to the point and has a very keen sense of humor, so we get along famously. And, I go still visit her sometimes. And that's honestly why I wanted to promote her book fundamentally, is because she's kind of been languishing in obscurity because she's quite elderly and doesn't really know how to do TikTok or promote herself online or anything like that. But let me tell you about this book. Well, actually, let me tell you about her a little bit more first. First of all, she does have a PhD. She's a doctor, and Angela Mailander. And she's a poet. She's actually published several books of poetry, which I haven't read. Poetry is not really my cup of tea, But knowing her, being her student and being her friend, I got to hear all these stories. And this book is a good encapsulation of all those stories that she told me and my classmates about. It starts off, she's a child in a German prison camp. Her family has been in prison for political reasons, and they find out that the Russians are coming. So they leave the German prisoner camp because nobody's guarding it after a certain point. And it's this really, it's nonfiction. It's her memoir. It's her remembering these things about her childhood and not only escaping the Russian line, growing up in post-war Germany, and I believe it gets into her eventual arrival to the United States. She's lived a very interesting life, quite a childhood, and then when she moved to the United States, she married a black man in the South during the 1960s, 1970s, and she got to experience all of that too. Um, she's brilliant, she's funny, she's insightful. The story is hard hitting at times and also quite humorous at times. It's a solid read, honestly. Like, if you want a first-hand account of the last days of World War II from the perspective of a child growing up in that environment, you can't do better than this book. My only caveat is that she does lean into territory that some of us would consider to be more on the conspiracy theory side of things. I can't really fault her for that. She does back up a lot of her claims as much as she can with verified third-party sources, but a lot of it is, elderly people seeing a larger narrative in the grand structure of the world kind of situation. I don't think it detracts from the story at all. It's just kind of sprinkled in like a seasoning to the actual story, which is a really engaging story about a young woman's growing up in prison camps, and then in post-World War II Germany, and then her, travels and her education and how different things were back then. It's really an engrossing read. I really recommend it if you want, if you are in the mood for a nonfiction memoir from somebody who was there and saw and experienced it, and not just sort of like a casual thing. It's good. I recommend. And I'm going to keep doing book recommendations. And as per our discussions about how broken the 5-star system review system is, I'm not going to offer any kind of codified review system at all. So I'm just telling you what the book's about, and I'll tell you if I like it. And I tell you if you enjoy this kind of book, you will enjoy this one. I guarantee it. She's an excellent writer. You don't get to be a PhD with multiple published books in poetry without being able to put together a decent story, especially one that's as hard-hitting as this. So, if you like it, if it sounds good, I recommend checking out Angela by Angela Mailander. It's on Amazon and probably other places too. I don't know.